Imagine discovering that the biggest obstacle standing between most people and financial freedom isn't their salary, it isn't inflation, it isn't the stock market, and it isn't where they were born. It's something they carry with them every single day, something invisible, something so ordinary, most people never realize it's making decisions on their behalf. Before you bought your last car, before you clicked buy now, before you told yourself, I'll start saving next month, your brain had already begun making the decision. And here's the unsettling part. It has been doing that for years, quietly, automatically, without asking your permission. Tonight, we're going to expose the hidden psychology that silently shapes almost every financial decision you make. Because once you see it, you'll never look at money the same way again. Imagine two neighbors. They live on the same street. Their children attend the same school. They barbecue together during the summer. Both earn around $80,000 a year. Both work hard. Both genuinely want a better future for their families. If you met them today, you probably couldn't tell them apart. Now imagine jumping forward 25 years. One family enjoys financial peace. Their mortgage is gone. Their investments quietly generate income. Unexpected expenses are inconvenient, not devastating. The other family still works just as hard, yet every emergency creates stress. Credit card balances never seem to disappear. Retirement feels further away than ever. Same neighborhood, similar income, same economy, completely different future. Why? Most people immediately assume the answer is income, or luck, or opportunity. But research in behavioral economics suggests something far more interesting. Small financial behaviors repeated consistently over long periods can compound into dramatically different outcomes. In other words, the biggest difference may not have been what they earned. It may have been how they repeatedly made decisions. And that's where our story really begins. Here's something fascinating. Your brain wasn't designed to navigate credit cards, retirement accounts, online shopping, or investment portfolios. For most of human history, money didn't exist in the way it does today.
This hide is worth 2 axes.
1 axe and some grain, perhaps.
Agreed. A fair trade.
Our brains evolved to solve immediate survival problems. Find food, avoid danger, stay connected to the tribe, react quickly. Thousands of years later, those same instincts are still with us. Only now, instead of protecting us from predators, they influence whether we buy something we don't need, whether we panic during a market downturn, whether we save for the future, or spend everything today. Psychologists often describe this as automatic thinking. It's the part of your mind that helps you make quick decisions without carefully analyzing every choice. Most of the time, that's incredibly useful. Imagine having to consciously think about every step while walking, or every movement while driving. Automatic thinking makes life possible. But when it comes to money, it can quietly lead us toward decisions that feel good today, while making tomorrow more difficult. And that's exactly why building wealth is rarely just about numbers. It's about understanding the mind making those numbers move. Let's try a simple experiment. Imagine you received an unexpected $1,000 bonus.
$1,000! I can't believe it!
Before we go any further, pause for a moment. What was the very first thing that entered your mind? A vacation. A new phone. Paying off debt. Investing. Helping your family. There isn't one universally correct answer. But your first instinct reveals something important. Financial decisions often begin with emotion. Logic usually arrives later. Marketers understand this exceptionally well. That's why advertisements rarely begin with facts. They begin with feelings. They sell excitement, comfort, Status. Belonging. Convenience. Because emotion moves people. Then logic arrives afterward to justify the purchase. Have you ever said, "I deserved it"? Or, "It was on sale"? Or, "I'll make the money back"? Those explanations might be completely reasonable. But they also illustrate something powerful. Our brains are remarkably good at creating stories that make emotional decisions feel logical. That isn't a flaw unique to you. It's part of being human. The question isn't whether emotion influences financial decisions. It almost certainly does. The question is whether we recognize when it's happening. Because awareness creates something incredibly valuable. Choice. Most people believe becoming wealthier automatically solves money problems. It sounds reasonable. Earn more. Worrying less. But life has a habit of surprising us. Imagine receiving the promotion you've been working toward for years. The paycheck finally arrives. For a while, everything feels different. You celebrate, you breathe easier. You promise yourself, this changes everything. But then, something subtle begins to happen. The apartment becomes a larger home. The reliable car becomes the luxury model. Weekend dinners become everyday deliveries. One streaming service becomes 6. Monthly subscriptions quietly multiply. None of these decisions feel irresponsible by themselves. In fact, many feel deserved. The problem isn't one purchase. It's the pattern. Without realizing it, your lifestyle quietly expands to match your income. Economists often refer to this pattern as lifestyle inflation. Psychologists relate it to hedonic adaptation, our tendency to become accustomed to improvements until they feel normal. Yesterday's luxury becomes today's expectation. And suddenly, the raise that once felt life-changing feels ordinary. This is why two people can receive the exact same salary increase, yet experience completely different financial futures. One spends nearly every additional dollar. The other intentionally directs part of that increase toward future ownership. The difference doesn't feel dramatic that month, or even that year, but over decades, it can become extraordinary. Let's return to our neighbors. Neither family made one catastrophic financial mistake. There wasn't a single moment that changed everything. There were thousands of tiny moments. A decision here, a purchase there, an investment delayed. A raise fully spent, a habit repeated. None of them looked important, until 25 years passed. That's how financial futures are usually built, quietly, patiently, almost invisibly. And here's what's remarkable. The next psychological trap is even more powerful than lifestyle inflation. Because it doesn't just influence how we spend money, it changes how we experience time itself. If I told you there was a force quietly influencing nearly every financial decision you make, you'd probably want to know what it is. The surprising part is, you've experienced it thousands of times. You just didn't know it had a name. Let's go back to our two neighbors. Remember them. Same neighborhood, similar salaries. Similar opportunities. On paper, their financial lives looked almost identical. But there was one invisible difference. Every time they earned a little more, one of them asked, "What can I buy?" The other asked, "What can this money become?" That single question quietly shaped the next 25 years of their lives. Not because one person was smarter, not because one had insider knowledge, but because they were training to completely different ways of thinking. And the human brain has an extraordinary ability to turn repeated thoughts into permanent habits. Let's try another experiment. Imagine someone walks up to you and says, "I'll give you $100 today." Then they add, "Or, if you're willing to wait just 1 month, I'll give you $120 instead." What would you choose? Many people instinctively take the money today. Not because it's mathematically better, but because our brains naturally place a premium on immediate reward. Behavioral economists call this present bias. In simple terms, the present feels louder than the future. Your future self wants financial freedom. Your present self wants convenience. Your future self wants investments. Your present self wants the latest gadget. Your future self wants peace of mind. Your present self says, "I've had a long week, I deserve this." Neither version of you is evil. They're simply competing for the same dollar. And every purchase becomes a vote. Not just for what you own, but for the future you're creating. There's one word that quietly drains more wealth than almost any other. Later. I'll save later. I'll invest later. I'll learn later. I'll start next month. The problem is, later has a habit of becoming next year, then 5 years. Then retirement arrives, still carrying yesterday's excuses. Time is the only financial asset you can never earn back. Money lost can sometimes be replaced. Time cannot. That's why one of the greatest advantages in wealth building isn't earning more. It's starting earlier. Even small consistent actions have more time to grow than large actions that begin years later. This isn't about perfection, it's about momentum. Because once positive financial habits begin, they become easier to maintain than to restart. 25 years ago, neither neighbor knew which financial decision would matter most. The extra dinner out, the investment skipped, the promotion celebrated, the raise quietly invested, each decision seemed insignificant. If you had asked either family after the first year, their lives would have looked almost identical. After 5 years, still similar. After 10, small differences began to emerge. After 25, those tiny decisions had become two completely different financial stories. That's how compounding often works. It hides its greatest power until the very end. Now imagine something different. You finally buy your dream car. For a week, you can't stop smiling. Then one morning, your neighbor drives home in an even newer model. Suddenly, your dream car doesn't feel quite so special. Here's the strange part. Nothing about your own car changed. The engine is the same. The seats are the same. The payment is definitely the same. The only thing that changed was your comparison. Human beings rarely evaluate success in isolation. We compare. It's one of the oldest instincts we have. Thousands of years ago, comparison helped us understand our place within a tribe. Today, social media has expanded the tribe to billions of people. Within minutes, you can compare your life to a celebrity, an entrepreneur, a professional athlete, a stranger you've never met. And here's what makes this dangerous. You're usually comparing your everyday reality to someone else's highlight reel. No wonder so many people feel behind. The comparison never ends. And if comparison never ends, neither does the pressure to spend.
This is the best moisturizer I've ever used. Seriously, click the link and get it while it's still in stock.
Here's something fascinating. Some of the wealthiest people you'll ever meet don't look wealthy. Their car isn't brand new. Their clothes aren't covered in luxury logos. Their phone might even be several years old. At first glance, you'd never guess. Because real wealth often hides where nobody can see it. Inside retirement accounts. Inside businesses. Inside investment portfolios. Inside home equity. Inside intellectual property. Inside productive assets quietly working every day. Meanwhile, it's entirely possible for someone to appear wealthy while carrying enormous debt. That's one of the biggest misconceptions in modern society. We've confused displays of wealth with wealth itself. The difference is enormous. One attracts attention. The other creates freedom. Now let's talk about one emotion that has emptied countless investment accounts. Fear. Imagine checking your investments one morning and discovering they've dropped 20%. Your heart sinks. News headlines predict disaster.
Global markets in free fall. The Dow Jones continues to plummet as investors are urged to sell now.
Friends start selling. Social media explodes with panic. Your automatic brain has one message. Get out. That instinct made sense thousands of years ago, when danger appeared. Running away increased your chances of survival. Financial markets aren't ancient forests. Yet our brains often respond as though they are. History shows that markets have experienced both significant declines and long periods of growth. No one can predict exactly what happens next. But emotional decisions made during moments of fear can have long-lasting consequences. The goal isn't to ignore risk. The goal is to avoid letting temporary emotions permanently rewrite a thoughtful long-term plan. That's a very different mindset. There's one final trap we need to expose. And it might be the loudest one of all. Fear of missing out. Every generation has had its version.
The gold rush. The dot-com boom.
Housing speculation.
Starting at 500,000, do I hear 600?
Meme stocks. Crypto excitement. Artificial intelligence. Notice something. The technology changes. Human behavior doesn't. Whenever people believe everyone else is getting rich, the pressure becomes almost irresistible. What if I miss the opportunity? That's a powerful question. But perhaps there's a better one. Do I actually understand what I'm investing in? That question has quietly protected countless investors from decisions driven more by excitement than understanding. Innovation creates opportunity, but excitement alone isn't an investment strategy. Thoughtful decision-making never goes out of style. By now, you may have noticed something. None of these traps begin with money. They begin with the stories we tell ourselves. I'll start later. Everyone else is doing it. I deserve this. I'll never get another chance. Those stories feel harmless until they quietly become habits. And habits become futures. But here's the encouraging part. If automatic thinking can work against you, it can also be retrained to work for you. Because the most financially successful people aren't necessarily those who never feel temptation. They're often the ones who build systems that help them make good decisions even when emotions run high. And that's exactly where our story goes next. Because avoiding financial traps is only half the journey. The other half is learning the habits that quietly build wealth, one decision at a time. Let's go back to our two neighbors. 25 years have passed. Their children are grown. The neighborhood has changed. The trees they planted years ago now stretch high above their rooftops. From the outside, both families still appear successful. But inside their financial lives, the difference has become impossible to ignore. One family has choices, the other has obligations. One sees retirement as an opportunity, the other sees it as a deadline they aren't ready for. One family can help their children without risking their own future. The other desperately wants to help, but simply can't. It didn't happen because one family got lucky. It didn't happen because one suddenly became a financial genius. It happened because of something far less dramatic. Thousands of quiet decisions, repeated, month after month, year after year. Because the human brain has an extraordinary ability to turn repeated thoughts into permanent habits, and permanent habits into permanent outcomes. That may be the most important idea in this entire documentary. Your financial future isn't built by what you do once. It's built by what you do consistently. Imagine hiring your first employee. They never complain. They never ask for a vacation. They work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even while you sleep. Now imagine hiring another, then another, then another. Eventually, you have hundreds of tiny employees, each one quietly producing value over time. That's one way to think about productive assets. Every dollar invested thoughtfully has the potential to become another worker helping you build your future. Not every investment succeeds. Markets rise, markets fall. Businesses succeed, businesses fail. Nothing in investing is guaranteed, but the principle remains remarkably powerful. Ownership gives your money the opportunity to participate in economic activity rather than sitting on the sidelines. Consumers spend money once. Owners give money the chance to keep working. And over decades, that difference can become extraordinary. By now, you may be wondering, where do I actually begin? Not with predictions, not with secret strategies, not with trying to find the next overnight success story. You begin with 5 decisions so simple. Most people underestimate their power. Create space between emotion and action. The next time you're about to make a major purchase, pause. Wait 24 hours. Sometimes the excitement grows, often, it disappears. That pause gives your thoughtful mind time to catch up with your emotional one. Pay your future self first. Many people try to save whatever remains at the end of the month. The challenge is, there's often very little left. Instead, decide in advance what percentage of your income will go toward your future. Then build the rest of your lifestyle around what's left. For many people, automating that process removes the need to rely on willpower alone. Own before you upgrade. The next time your income increases, ask yourself a different question. Instead of, what can I buy? Ask, what can I own? That one question quietly separates consumers from long-term owners. It won't change your life overnight, but it may change where your life is headed. Stay curious longer than everyone else. The economy never stands still. Technology changes. Industries evolve. New opportunities appear. Old ones disappear. The people who continue learning often place themselves in a stronger position than those who assume tomorrow will look exactly like today. Knowledge compounds too. Think in decades, not headlines. Every week, there's another prediction, another crisis, another opportunity that supposedly can't be missed. But history tells a calmer story. Entire companies rise and fall. Markets experience periods of optimism and pessimism. Technology reshapes industries. Yet thoughtful, long-term decision-making has remained remarkably relevant through every generation. Patience rarely trends, but it has often rewarded those willing to practice it. I'd like you to imagine one final scene. It's 30 years from today. A child walks into a family home. They find an old photo album sitting on a shelf. They begin turning the pages. There are birthdays, graduations, family vacations, ordinary moments that eventually became extraordinary memories. What they don't see are the decisions that made those moments possible. They don't see the evening you decided not to buy something you couldn't truly afford. They don't see the investment contribution you almost skipped. They don't see the nights you spent learning instead of scrolling. They don't see the budget that felt frustrating at the time. They don't see the small sacrifices, but they live with the results. They receive an education because of them. They grow up with stability because of them. They inherit opportunity because of them. That's the remarkable thing about wise financial decisions. The people who benefit most from them may never know they happened. And perhaps that's exactly the point, because real wealth isn't measured only by what you accumulate. It's measured by the opportunities you create for people you'll never become. Let's return to the question we asked at the very beginning. Why do two people earning similar incomes often end up living completely different financial lives? It isn't because one person never made mistakes. Everyone does. It isn't because one person perfectly predicted the economy. No one can. It isn't because one person always chose the winning investment. That's not how real life works. The difference often begins much earlier. With awareness, one person allows automatic thinking to make every financial decision. The other gradually learns to question it. One reacts. The other reflects. One repeatedly chooses what feels good today. The other increasingly considers what creates options tomorrow. Neither journey is perfect. But over years, small differences become meaningful ones. And meaningful differences become different lives. If there's one idea I hope stays with you after this film, it's this. Financial freedom rarely arrives as one dramatic event. It grows quietly, decision by decision, habit by habit, year by year, long before anyone else notices. The headlines won't celebrate your consistency. Social media probably won't reward your patience. Your friends may never understand why you chose ownership over appearances. That's okay. You're not building your future for applause. You're building it for freedom, for peace of mind, for choices. For the people who will one day benefit from decisions they're too young to understand today. Because every financial decision is about more than money. It's about the kind of future you're quietly constructing, starting now.
Here at Mintonomics, we don't chase financial hype. We explore the psychology behind wealth, the economic forces shaping everyday life, and the timeless principles that help ordinary people make wiser financial decisions. If that's the journey you're on, you're exactly who this channel was built for. Subscribe and join us every week as we uncover the ideas that don't just change portfolios. They change perspectives. And before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Which idea from today's documentary challenged your thinking the most? Was it lifestyle inflation, comparison, present bias, or the realization that your habits quietly shape your future? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read them because some of the best conversations don't happen in documentaries. They happen afterward.
Mintonomics Film Production.
Until next
Scene
time,
1, take 1.
keep learning,
And
keep
action.
building, and above all, keep thinking like an owner.
What are you waiting for? Subscribe to Mintonomics? I'll see you again.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to Mintonomics.